What's going on, guys? It is Luke here, and I'm going to bring you a really important video here. So it's all going to be about how you need to be prepared for Q1 or January, more importantly, in Q4 or December. So basically this period now. Because obviously over December, you'll get to the point where, well, you'll start to, get caught up in the sort of momentum of your sales. Everything's going crazy. You're sourcing more. You're getting more back. You're doing a lot more hands-on, because you want to optimize obviously your returns in that very short time frame between, like, well, today as of filming is Black Friday, although it seems to be Black Year or month these days, but Black Friday is like 29th of November, is it today? It is. All the way till about the 23rd of December will be when sales go crazy, and then day after it will sort of drop off, because obviously you can't get any more presents from Amazon from that date, from the 24th obviously. So the 23rd will be the last sort of buying day, and it will probably be quite strong up to that point. So up to, the next couple of weeks, but then you have Christmas. People sort of like turn off, like their minds over Christmas, and then they get to the point where they're like, oh, it's January. When do I start? What do I do? How do I see? You've been so sort of in flux, all relating to Q4. Now it's suddenly nowhere near that, nothing to do with it. What do I do? I'm going to go over my first year doing Q4 versus Q1, which I've done the video before, but I'm going to go back over it, bring some sort of new updated views on it, how to tackle it. This is obviously for newer sellers as well as more experienced sellers who are maybe looking to sort of improve on their last years. Because I found each year that I've had a Q4 transition to Q1, there's new ideas and plans and strategies that I've tried to adopt just to basically offset any depression that will come in January. So I'm going to be using SELLERBOARD to demonstrate this whole video. And the reason that I use SELLERBOARD is because it gives you really nice segments of data that you can analyze and compare different months, different years, see what was selling then and why something didn't sell, and the transition between Q4 and Q1. It's really, really easy to see by basically looking on SELLERBOARD. So I've jumped onto I always use this year as an example because it's so far away that the products are pretty much completely different, so I don't mind showing it. This is my so this date segment is the 1st of the 10th, 2017 to the 31st. This is basically Q4 2 years ago. This is my first serious Q4. The year before that, in December, was in 2016, was my first first month selling. I think I did £1,200 in sales on December 2016. So that was literally, I remember like New Year's Eve, because I'm sad. It was like, let's see if we can eke out like a couple more quid, and it's like 1,200. I was like, oh my god! But yeah, and obviously then a year later, this is what was my first Q4. Going into it completely blind, really, no real guidance, no mentors as such, no, there was sort of hints and tips and stuff like that, but everyone sells different products, and it was very much like I just went in trying to sell toys, pretty much. Anything related to that, DVDs, anything like stocking fillers and stuff. But that was it. And then I didn't really know what to do Q1. Come Q1, I was like, let's sell toys. That didn't really work out. So I'm going to go over everything, show you exactly what I sold, and then go through January, February, and March, because they are always the slowest months. So you've got to be aware that come Q1, they're going to be your slowest months. And it's a bit of a shock because you get used to this, like, every day doing 200, 300, 400, a grand, 2 grand, 3 grand a day sales, and then you go through, you could do £80, and then you're like not just crying, but yeah, doing lots of other stuff. Anyway, let's get on to it. So you can see here, Q4, the whole period, it was about 82 grand in sales. Okay. Fine. I'm not going to go and break them down. I've done a video before breaking my the period over. This is more comparing it to the Q1, showing the items that I was selling in the two periods, and sort of giving you advice and tips. As you can see, most of the products, there's Lego there, there's Star Warsy stuff, there's some DVDs, there's some electronic, like Now TV back box back in the day, there's some hairdryer, there's more toys, Lego, pretty standard stuff. Lego, Playmobil, Disney stuff. Yeah, is pretty bog standard. And then obviously what I did in this year is I think come about the 23rd so I think my last day of selling any stock was probably something like the 20th, the 18th, 19th, depending on what I had left. And then pretty much left it till something like the 1st, and then I started again, if you get what I mean. But I didn't really have any tactics. I was pretty much just going to analyse the deals, buy less, and see what happened. Well, let's see what happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over and show you a comparison from December, and then we're going to literally just jump over to January. So, you know, and my tactics for the months were very, very similar. So, of course, I wasn't buying in bulk as much because I didn't expect the sales, but the items that I was looking at were very similar. Probably some extras because I found new deals, but yeah. So we're going to jump to the month so we can just reflect on the 2 months. There we go, 40 grand, okay. So just under 40,000 sales for December, okay. And of course, yeah, you know, I did wait. I didn't just, so I think UPS don't ship, you can't do collections on Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, and the 2nd, I believe, something like that. So it's only 4 days, I think, that they don't collect, and all the other days, I believe they do. I was looking into it; it wasn't clear cut, but I just go for that. So for only 4 days, you could, you know, in 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, you could be doing shipments as long as it wasn't the weekend. But I just held off just to have a week off and reflect, and you know, I beat all my expectations anyway, and the profit I made was, I don't even know what it was anymore, but ignore the profit here probably because I wasn't using SELLERBOARD back then, so yeah, the cost of goods aren't really entered. But you know, whatever it was, maybe 10 grand or something, I don't even know what it was, I literally don't. Was, you know, I was happy to have a week off and just sort of forget things and just do whatever, see family and stuff like that, friends, and get on the pints or whatever. But we then want to look to January. So a lot of people will be doing it as their first, maybe second Q4, and you know, it is a huge issue jumping across. What I mean by that, why is that? Yeah, what I mean by that is that in my January, this is what we're going to see. I think it even popped up there. I had a terrible January. So I went into it blind. You can see here the transition between 40 grand to 5. And of course, yeah, there wasn't a stock there to sell. So if I had, you know, everything still decently in stock because I was keeping up the stock for, you know, for the whole period, maybe I would have done 10. You know, who knows, 7, 10, 8. But you can see this was me, you know, I was pushing the stock, and I don't even mind showing this because I don't really sell hardly any of these. But, you know, a lot of these are still within the same categories as Q4. They're still now TV boxes, Disney, you know, they're still Playmobil, they're still Lego. I didn't really, you know, yeah, there was a couple of extra little bits here, but I really did not change my philosophy, my strategies and techniques. And what I found, I wasn't too worried because I was like, you know what, I did such a great Q4 in my eyes. You know, everyone has their own goals, I guess. So whatever your goal is, that's fine. Don't look at everyone else and sort of think that's what you should achieve. Yeah, it's nice to see what the potential could be, but don't obviously reflect and say you've not done well because of someone else. But I was happy just to do this because I was like, you know what, I had a good Q4, Q1 or January. I'm happy just to sort of see what happens because I'm learning. This is a learning process for me because I've never done it. I've never got to, this is my first proper doing it sort of full time, I guess you would call it, because it was at this time a full time thing. The year before was not, so it wasn't so much, it wasn't the same. And the items I sold obviously dissimilar, which is the wrong thing to be doing. You can sell similar products, but really you need to be aware and getting ready and preparing and almost know what you want to be selling in Q1 in January. And what I'll do is I'll just expand it to the full 3 months, just so you can see. So what was and I'll just compare it. Well, we'll look at it anyway. We can go back. We can always reflect it in a second. And I'll show you overall the products over this 3 months. This is Q1. And what I found is that really it was terrible, really, for 3 months compared to what I actually did in Q4. I was like, wow, yeah, let's go. and I felt like I hit a bit of a roadblock and I went backwards. So I did 20,900. So if you just get a calculator and just literally divide that by 3, the average sales that I did each month was about 6,966. From, and that's an average per month. Obviously, if you just want to really double check, like mentally, it's very much a mental thing. Like I just went not into depression or anything like that, but it really like knocked me back in terms of like, where do I go from here? From 81 to 20, it's like 4 times less. But 6,900 on average to 27 grand. So I was doing about 27,000 average if you divide by 3, or 6.5, 7 grand. So it's mentally a really big shock, because I was also paying myself it was my full-time thing at the time, and I wasn't actually getting any money from any other venues or avenues. I ended up losing some money in I lost money in January because obviously I did crap, and I probably broke even for these 2 months or something. I don't know. It wasn't, I can't remember exactly, but I wasn't really going forward or backwards. I was sort of just stagnating. And for 3 months doing that, considering you know how like euphoric it was in Q4, it's a real like mind fuck basically. And it took me a good, even longer than Q1 just to probably took me even till the summer to really start thinking, you know what, I'm now looking at everything as a year. So the work you're putting in almost Q4 now is going to be influencing my next year's goals and objectives, which I did not have at the time. At the time, I was very much looking month to month or quarter to quarter at max. And you need to be looking at a year, because even people saying, oh, I might quit Amazon. How long have you been doing it for? 8 months. I'm like, it's September like the 25th. Are you stupid? Pretty much. Or like, are you not obviously stupid because they haven't experienced it, but are you obviously haven't been advised or taken on the advice like you should. Because if you then do Q4 and do 50 grand, well, you might have doubled your sales from the rest of the year, and then that would look actually decent. But because you're only reflecting on a small segment or small sample size or whatever you want, that sort of thing, of course it's going to be skewed. It's not going to be correct data. So I always tell everyone to look at everything as a year and tackle it as a year. So build in Q1, Q2, and you sort of phase your quarters. So you start off very much Q1 related products. It could be like slimming stuff, or it could be like lots of grocery products. Day-to-day stuff. Some toys, maybe some that, and then you sort of build up your replenishable list, build up your leads, build up your cash flow, improve your cash flow over time, and then transition into the Q4 period. And then you can sort of rinse and repeat. Of course, you don't want to do it forever, but that's the sort of attitude I would go about adopting. To show the items, they look basically identical to my Q1, which is not what you want to do. Over the year. So this is what I would be, if I'm giving advice and stuff, is definitely now, Q4, definitely when sales are starting to fly off the shelves, and you should have already prepared as much as you can in terms of stock levels and all that. You don't want to be going, oh, look, now sales are picking up. I've already talked about this before. Now let's start buying like double the amount, because you're too late. Like by the time you've got literally, what's the date today? You've got 3 weeks. Well, okay, you've got to buy the stock. You might do some stuff, but you're going to, before you know it, it's going to be the end of the season, and then it's January. So you really want to be preparing now for Q1. I already know exactly what I'm doing for Q1. I know the exact dates that I'm going to be getting, like, a lot of grocery deliveries, and I'm planned, and I know what I'm doing exactly. I know even like before Christmas, like the 20th, I may send in maybe like one grand, 2 grand worth of like January products, so that the end of December, beginning of January, even at the end of December, like the 29th, people might start buying the stuff like, slimming bars or something, or like, I don't know, like Fiber One 90 calorie bars and stuff like that, that sort of thing. They might start buying it in preparation, because, in a couple of days' time, they're like, right, I'm going to go on a diet, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Let's buy it before because obviously you've got some bank holidays. And yes, that falls into December sales, but I'll have the stock there for the beginning, and I won't wait. So I'm already basically acting as if it's Q1 within the next 2 weeks. I'm just obviously still Q4 mentality now. I'm just trying to replenish everything that's sold daily. I'm looking at sales, I'm trying to keep up like 100 units of all the best ones. I've got 250 units of some. I've got 100 units of tons, 50 of even more, and I'm basically just trying to keep on top of all those, probably for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll start daily, maybe buying small batches, but sending in more daily. But yeah, everyone has their own Q4 objectives anyway. But it's Q1. So build up, but building up a replenishable list over the year, which you may have started doing, you may not. But come January, you want to be building up a replenishable list so that come the following Q4, every month that you build up, you might get 3 leads that month, 4 there, or you've got 50 leads by the end of the year. Come January, all you do is go back over your previous history, your replenishable sheets, and start buying 5, 10 units of that, 5, 10 units of that, 3 of that, and then just basically flushing through what I would call clean stock, and obviously trying to not replenish the stuff that's more seasonal, Christmas time. And that way the biggest thing I find is that you don't want to make all this money, some decent money in Q4, be like, yes, you know what, that was worth it now. Although like the last 6 months from breaking even was crap, but this Q4 was great, and then actually lose money the other months, even if it's a little bit, but £300 here, £400 here, and then before you're like, that's £1,000, and I only made 7 or 6. That's like a decent chunk. And another great tip, literally, this is the tip that I swear by right now, or I have done for a while. I'm not praying. I don't know what that is. Well, it is praying, I guess, but not. Yeah. So what I swear by is that in Q4 you may have quite a lot of softwares or services trying to complement and help you achieve your potential. So you might you might use FBA Wizard and be like, I'm also going to use tactical arbitrage, or you might use tactical arbitrage and be like, I want to use fast track FBA, online arbitrage deals. What else is there? Am I missing some? Probably. Don't know any others. But there are some. There are others. There's loads. And you might be like, I'm also going to use that. I'm also going to subscribe to maybe the bigger, sort of the slightly bigger package than the basic. Just because you want to, I would always say, always have more. One of the sort of pitholes of obviously Q4 is not having enough products to buy. And definitely when your money starts coming back fast because you do more sales, so you're getting obviously more cash flow returning to you quicker, you need to be able to keep on top of that and basically have no money in the bank. If I've got money in the bank, I'm doing something wrong. That is exactly it. Money in the bank is the worst thing you want. Obviously, you've got bills coming out. It could be direct debit for a credit card or something. Then that's fine. That's obviously normal stuff. But money. I mean, every day I'm like, how much have I got? How much can I squeeze out? And I'm like, if I got £2,000 there, and £2,000 for me is taking me 5 minutes to spend. It really is. So I'm like, that's nothing. Like I feel like £2,000 done. I'm like, it's 10 past 9. But you just want to be trying to push. Even like 5 here, 10 here, 15 there, 20 there. But come January, of course, you want to bring down your limits, like your quantities. But things sell year round. So, and in terms of, it doesn't just disappear. The stuff that is related to Q1 or dated stuff that isn't really seasonal at all. Maybe it's like wipes, floor wipes or something. People need that as much in December as they need it in January or, February or whatever months it is. So I wouldn't think, nothing's going to sell, because everything does. Like all you got to do is look at Keeper and just go to January. And yeah, you will obviously notice that in December it's probably higher, but you can still do a lot of things as long as you just diversify a little bit more and you sort of broaden out your horizons and sometimes the products. Then there's not a problem there. But you can see like the pitfalls or the potential to have like a shockingly awful Q1 after having a relatively successful first Q4, and mentally, if you don't prepare, it's like really destructive, because then you just think, I just want to do 10 grand in Q1. Well, like now my goal is like, because I had 5,700 in January, I'm like, let's do 8. And I'm like, well, really 8 is pretty tame, isn't it? So, you want to be doing at least 10 to be able to cover things and pay for things, because, there is sort of like that sort of economies of scale point where you need to get to start making some profits, basically. You know, and yeah, like I said, you want to strip back. That was what I was getting to the point. You want to strip back a lot of your expenses and literally dissect your expenses, everything. So, you know, even to the point where I don't even buy the sticky, you know, like when you're doing a box, you get labels, which is fine because you need to be able to peel the labels off. But I used to also get the A4 double sheet things. That's not me copying anything. Just me. Right, I won't do that. And then you just peel them off and you stick it on the box, yeah? But I just use A4 paper now. I literally just print it and get some sellotape or tape and just tape it on. I don't even buy the special things. You know, A4, you can get a wad like that and it's like £4. Or you can get like 50 shipping labels for like £8. So it's just little savings, but that actually will probably be like 50, you know, £100 a year. Well, okay, well, I'd rather do £100 a year and find 10 ways to save that, and it doesn't actually change the outcome. So just break it down, see what you need and see what you don't, and that's where a replenishable list comes in handy because you've paid for that. You know, that information you in a way have paid for already, but you can get it for free in January, which is the month of January, February, March, which is when you need it to be free. So you know you can very easily eat up your profits just by not really adjusting your expenses. You know, in terms of softwares and services, is more what I mean. Do you really need all of that? Can you run off your replenishables for 3 months, or even at least one? So January, you know, will be a slow month. Will be pretty much, you know, if you're going to do a project, you're going to work on something else. Maybe you want to have a little bit of time off because you burn out or something. Then do it in January. You know, like I've got projects and things that I want to do. I will also try like a 3-day week. So I'll have like 3 days doing Amazon, and then I'll have like 1 day doing YouTube, Facebook, recording videos and like planning, and then I'll have another day doing other things like building new websites and building the web of beautiful things that I want to do. Right. So I think I have covered everything, and I know I'm not obviously going into SELLERBOARD, you know, a lot, and I always talk about it, but for stuff like this, it's just so quick and easy. You can compare months, sales, you know, products. You can see the pictures. You don't even really have to look at it. You can even go and be like, you know, I'll keep the best Q4 selling products. They look good on Keeper. It's just you need to. It's more building up some knowledge and understanding, almost wisdom from this period. Definitely, if you're newer, the newer you are, the more this is important. So that next year you already know what you're doing. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. It's almost subconscious. I haven't even like really planned. All I've done is gone, what date do I want to send in this? Get my phone out, I'm like, done. It's like, you know, and I already know exactly how I'm playing it because it's just second nature to me. You know, you think about like almost like daydreaming. You just think about these things over the months, over the years. Like, what am I going to do then? What if? Before you know it, I don't even have to think. It's just done. And you want to build it up like that, so you don't even have to go, oh my God, yeah, you don't want that point. You want to already be knowing exactly how it's going to be and when you're going to do it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. You know, if you haven't got SELLERBOARD, I'll put a link below. I'm pretty sure everyone already uses it, but you can get if you haven't, you can get 2 months free. So maybe just get 2 months free if you haven't and use it for this reason. And it pulls all of your data forever. So even if you didn't use SELLERBOARD, you know, like before a month ago or whatever, or well, as you sign up. Yeah, that just sounds completely retarded. What am I on? Anyway, it pulls all the data that you've ever had through Amazon. So you'll get last month's, whatever data that you need, and it will give you exactly what you want. If worst case, cancel the subscription after 2 months and carry on as usual. I'll leave the link below if you want to sign up. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.